Welcome to Kourt today for July 20th, 2019. This is the show where I break down some of the biggest stories from the past week and give you my opinions on them. If you want to learn more about these stories in the show notes down below, I'll give you a link to each story so you can read about them for yourself. Come up with your own opinions. I'll really appreciate it. I'd love to hear from you. Let me know what you think. If you are new here though, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, hit the thumbs up. It helps us out a lot because it lets YouTube know you enjoy what we're doing. And hopefully we can help you break free from the high cost of cable TV and still watch the shows you enjoy. Well, again, this is the new format of the weekend show. Same name as the weekday shows, but we're going to still do it a lot like we used to do the old Kourt Cutting This Week videos. Just, I think this will be a little less confusing. So some new news at the start. We're going to break down some of your questions of popular Kourt Cutting stories from the past week that I saw a lot of people asking questions about, and give you a look forward into the future Kourt Cutting, what you should keep an eye on. So right off the bat, news story of the day. Pluto TV has added 19 new channels so far this summer in 2019. Ton of content here. It's kind of one of those things. Some of this content you probably don't care about. Some of this content you're going to love. If you have a kid who loves Dora, they now have a 24/7 Dora channel. If you don't have a kid or nobody in your family likes Dora, you probably could care less. They have BBC content, classic Doctor Who, MTV The Hills, and more, including a ton of Spanish content that's been added to Pluto TV recently, which is great because Spanish content for free in the United States on Roku has been a little thin, at least good high quality ones. It's good to see Pluto TV adding a ton of Spanish content there for people. So I'd love to know what your favorite Pluto TV channel of the new ones are. Do you have one of these new channels out there you're just in love with? Is it the British TV channel? Is it the classic Doctor Who? Is it maybe some of the Spanish channels? Leave me a comment, let me know. I'll love to hear from you. All right, let's keep moving along into stories with people who had questions on them from the past week. I'm going to try to answer many of the popular questions I saw on stories from the past week. So if you have a question, leave a video. I sometimes answer them right here in the comments. Sometimes I just kind of take notes. A lot of people are asking about this. Let me actually talk about it in depth. And that's what we're going to do today. Number one, we reported this over the weekend that Dish is suing the IPTV service Simple on TV, and was likely the reason it shut down. So Simple TV was one of those services offering you a ton of channels for a cheap price. And then one day it just vanished. And now we've learned that it vanished in March, and March was also when Dish filed a lawsuit against the service. This raised a lot of questions. How is Dish suing people for IPTV? Wouldn't the content owners actually have to do that? Two ways that Dish can do this. Number one is if a Dish can prove that they're using Dish's network to illegally restream their network content. So if they're using the Dish, one of those pirated boxes, etc. Two, Dish actually owns exclusive rights to certain networks in the United States, especially international ones. So if Dish can prove that they're streaming those channels Dish has exclusive rights to, they're good. So keep an eye on this. Dish is trying to shut these down, has had a lot of luck with it by going after things like Set TV with success, going after Set TV and other providers. And now I said this, once they got one successful one down with Set TV, that's it. They have a precedent now to go after other ones here and try to destroy them through the legal system because they're offering pirated content of their feeds. And Dish is like, hey, you're going after them. So a lot of people have predicted that they wouldn't be successful with these lawsuits. So far, I believe they've won pretty much every lawsuit that's come to an end. I don't think any of these have been dismissed. This has a lot to do with Dish going after them to set an example here. Like, hey, if you want to run an illegal pirated TV service using our content or our equipment to make it happen, we're going to come after you. We're going to try to make your life pretty miserable, is I think what Dish is trying to set the example to prevent other people from doing it. It is a game of whack-a-mole a little bit, but we've seen these kind of be successful slightly with torrenting and with like the Kazaz and LimeWire and stuff in the past, where people were pushed into different areas because it became dangerous. You were afraid of a lawsuit. And that's what Dish seems to be hoping to create about people offering IPTV services. So keep a close eye on this. I think this is just the start. Other companies are joining Dish in this effort to go after these kind of pirated content. And there is now a legal precedent to say they can be successful in these lawsuits. So keep in mind on that. If you have a question on that, let me know. I hope that answers your questions. All right, or the next story I should say, Comcast has 12 different hidden fees in their triple play packages. So we talked about this earlier this week. There's always the people saying, look, I got this great introductory advertised price of $39.99 or $80 for all these channels, right? What they never talk about is the fees and taxes. And one of them being, there's 12 different fees and taxes, or fees, excuse me, not even including taxes, on Comcast triple play packages. So they can add up. Now, one customer's bill showed us over $70 in fees. I find a lot of Comcast customers, $50 to $60 in fees can be pretty typical. But I wanted to answer a few questions. First of all, why do we call these hidden fees? Because they appear in your bill, right? Yes, but they don't regularly advertise them as part of the advertised price. Many people in our comments rightly pointed out that many of these fees seem to be normal operating business fees, right? A fee to do business, but they're tacking it on as an additional expense. So keep that in mind. That we call them hidden fees because when you go on their website, they could very easily include these fees. These fees are set. Some of them don't change for years and years and years, but they don't include them in the advertised price when you're looking in your local area. So that's why we call them hidden fees. And they include things like a 911 fee, which is a government-imposed fee. But again, that's a fee that people know about. It's kind of one of those things that when you buy a product at Walmart that was shipped from overseas, you don't have a customs fee, right? There's no $9.99 for this item plus a $5 custom fee. You don't see it. They just roll that into the price of the item and price out for $14.99. I think that's what a lot of people would love to see Comcast and others do, is to get rid of all these franchise fees, these fees that they know what the cost of them are, and just advertise, if not on TV, because maybe that's a national TV, but when you go online, they could very easily say, hey, you're in Philadelphia, here's the fees and taxes in Philadelphia. So that's my main issue with them. All right, next story up of the day. And I'd love to know how big was the fees on your last cable TV or satellite TV bill? Mine was pretty substantial, so I'd love to hear yours. Leave us a comment, let us know. All right, next story up of the day. Sinclair's free streaming service is adding 10 new channels. So a lot of people ask me, how come we didn't list which channels these are? Stir is a Pluto TV-like service that offers both live and on-demand content. And they've announced plans to add 10 more channels. Unfortunately, Stir has not announced what 10 channels will be added. Once I find them out, if we learn more, we will be posting about what is coming to Stir in the weeks and months to come. So keep a close eye out on CourtCarsNews.com. Unfortunately, when a lot of these companies make announcements like this, they don't always tell you what is coming when. So keep that in mind. All right, and I'd love to know, have you tried Stir? What's your review of Stir? Leave us a comment down below. Maybe your review will help somebody decide if Stir is a service they should try out. Last story up of the day, we talked about 5 cord-cutting stories to watch for in the second half of 2019, and it started a lively talk about things people predict will happen in 2019. So I kind of wanted to give you quick 5 things that I predict that will be happening in cord-cutting by the end of this year. Number 1 is some streaming services will not make it through 2019. There is more streaming services than the market can handle. That's going to lead to some of them shutting down in the future. So keep that in mind. Now, that doesn't mean cord cutting is going to fail. Just the opposite. I think it's one of those where the best will rise to the top, the worst will fall to the bottom, and eventually become unprofitable and be shut down. The great thing about the free market is if Netflix suddenly becomes a bad streaming service, you can go to Hulu, you can go to Amazon, you can go to a wide range of other services. You don't have to stick with Netflix if it's not offering the content you want. So keep that in mind. So I predict one or more well-known streaming services will shut down this year. Number 2, I predict we'll see a flood of new services. We already know about Apple TV and Disney Plus coming this year. I predict there'll be many others launching this year, maybe even some more live TV streaming services, so keep that in mind. Also look for new Rokus and Fire TVs. I do expect new Rokus and Fire TVs to come out with at least one new model this year. Could surprise me, they could break their tradition of new Rokus every year, but I don't think they will, so keep an eye on that. Love to know what you would like to see in a new Roku or a new Fire TV. And a new Apple TV is better than a 50-50 chance. Now, I feel a lot less confident about new Apple TV this year than I did about a new Roku or a new Fire TV. Apple seems to be pulling back a little bit on the Apple TV by bringing their Apple TV content to Roku's, Fire TVs, and others. They seem to kind of accept it that, hey, we may not be the dominating force here that we are in the phone and tablet market. So, keep that in mind. But I wouldn't be surprised at all. I just think it's less likely that it will actually happen this year. And lastly, I do predict that cord cutting will continue to accelerate through the end of 2019. I do not see it slowing down. Now, does that mean that we'll be setting records every quarter between now and the end of 2019? Not necessarily, but I do intend to expect to see cord cutting continuing its upward trend as cord cutting grows and cable continue its slide of subscribers. All right, so I'd love to hear what your stories are. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think are your predictions for 2019 for the second half. And I hope everybody has a fantastic weekend. Huge thank you to everybody who helped us hit 80,000 subscribers. Cannot believe the growth there. Thank you so much. I will see you tomorrow for more cord cutting tips, tricks, reviews, and we'll be back on Monday for Cord Cutting Today. So thank you for your support. I will see you tomorrow. Take care, everybody.